This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to Egypt where we're going to be building the pyramids. But there's not going to be really tourists walking around and checking it out because once we build the pyramid, we're going to be taking it down because we're going to be trying to get the best poker hand from those pyramids. Today we're looking at Pyramid Poker. This is from R&R Games. It is a two-player, quick 10 to 15 minute game. Even if you don't like poker, stay tuned. Let's take a look. In Pyramid Poker, you're trying to build the best hands you can, 3 different ones against your opponent using these big wooden blocks, but you can't necessarily always see what you're taking. At the beginning of the game, each player randomly pulls and does not look at 15 wood blocks from each side. So as you can see, many of the blocks are not used in each game, so you're not sure which cards are there and which ones aren't. Then one at a time, each player will flip over one block, look at it, and place it somewhere on the board to be able to start building a pyramid. The ones you place will face you, the ones the opponent places will face them, and then since they only have one side, you're only going to be able to see half of the pyramid by the time it's done. And this is done in succession. You can either place it on the bottom where shown, or you can place them on top staggered like that. So the pyramid might look something like this when it's done. Then each player in succession will take any block that does not have anything on top. So at the beginning you can take this one, or this one. So this player might see this 10 here and take it here and add it to their hand. Now they can add it to any hand, but once it's added, it can't be removed, and this will happen in succession. You might have been thinking to go for the 3 10s, but the opponent did not like either of these two that they could see, and so they randomly could take from here or here, not knowing what they are, and maybe they just randomly take this, which would make you very angry, and they could either decide to fight you right up here, or go to a different hand and let's see what happens later. So at the end of the game, we just look at all 3 hands. We look at hand number 1. This player was going for a straight. 10, Jack, Queen, Ace, missed the King, so this player doesn't really have a good hand. This one has basically 2 Kings, 2 Queens. Notice they don't have to be in order as long as you have them, they're good. So this player won hand 1. The next one, this player has a flush with hearts. This one has a pair of 9s. So this one, so we're tied 1 to 1. Whoever wins 2 out of 3 hands wins. And in this case, this player has 3 of a kind with 5. This one was starting to go for a flush and then bombed out. So this player won hands 1 and 3. Since they won 2 out of 3, they'd win. Now the book does have the example rankings of all the poker suits. Of course, they left out 2 pair, which was interesting. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not, but that's that. Now, there's 2 jokers, and if you pull a joker, you get to throw it out of the game and draw 3 random ones that were not in the game originally. You would flip these over, and then you're able to pick which one you want, and then the other 2 get removed from the game. That's pretty much it. All right, there's Pyramid Poker. Now I gotta say, back in the day before I got back into the board gaming hobby, I loved poker. These days, not so much. I don't really play it. This game really has nothing to do with the bluffing aspect of, say, Texas Hold'em poker. It's just a matter of getting poker hands. So if you don't like poker, don't write this one off. In fact, I'm just gonna come out and spoil this review and say this has been a refreshing treat. This game is fantastic. I love 2-player games. I love quick 2-player games that have a lot of depth, that are easy to teach. This game is I call it my depth to complexity ratio. How easy is a game, but how much depth is there? This game is off the charts with that. I mean, literally, you could teach this game in like a minute. Hey, we're all just gonna place blocks. You're gonna place them on top of each other. Then you're gonna pull blocks off that don't have any on top of them. Whoever has the 2 out of 3 best poker hands wins. End the game. I just taught it to you in 20 seconds. But there is so much depth here. So much. I've played this over 12 times. And I gotta say, when I'm building the pyramid, I still don't really know quite what I'm doing. I don't really know what the best strategies are. I don't know if I should be covering it when there's 2 of them of theirs, or whether I should split up the ones I really want with the other ones. I'm actually still learning that, and I love that because I feel like I'm just barely scratching the surface of the strategy of building the pyramid. But in those 12 plays or so, breaking down the pyramid, I've gotten pretty good at figuring out how to manipulate the other opponent. Because see, a lot of times you're gonna be building your hand. And there's a lot of great decisions here where it's like, okay, they're going for that. Do I want to just try to spoil their hand and pick out the one that I can see that's gonna help them? Well, that might be the right move to do, but there might be another thing that they can see that they can do that you can't see. A lot of sort of intrigue there. But
But the coolest part is it's really like the pyramid is built and you're looking at this and you're like, okay, I need this one, and this one. How do I make it so that they have to pull off the one just above this to allow me to get it when I need it? Now, I don't know if you've ever played a game. A couple years ago, an amazing 2-player game came out, a 2-player version of Seven Wonders called Seven Wonders Duel. They brought it, Antoine Baza brought in Bruno Cathala to help him design this, and it's one of the best 2-player games that have come out pretty much ever in the last few years. And it's almost as if someone played Seven Wonders Duel and went, how do we take this unbelievable tension of figuring out how to manipulate which cards I'm going to force my opponents to take and uncover other ones, and just streamline that to some easy little poker thing that anybody can play. And I think that's what they did here. They took an amazing mechanism of drafting and trying to figure out thinking 3, 4, 5 turns ahead and put it into such a simple package. Wow, I'm blown away at how great and fun this game is. Simple, but yet lots of depth. I love it. And then even once you get the things, it's like, do I want to go right after the hand that they're building, or do I want to go off on my own? And it's, oh man, it is so great. A lot of times there is some luck. A lot of times you're like, oh, I get down to the end, you flip over one of theirs, and it's exactly what you need. It's like, oh, crazy. Anyway, lots of great things. Anything wrong? Yes, I do have a couple of problems with the game. Number one, by the way, I love the big chunky wood. It's awesome. The downside to that is that wood has grains and wood looks different. And, you know, if you study this and you play this game a lot, I can tell which one is the 6 of hearts now. Because I can look at the grain, I can say, okay, the ones that look like this is probably a 2, a 6, or a 5. And you can start to memorize that. Now I'm trying not to. I'm subconsciously like, don't look at that, don't think about that. But it's almost like the more you try not to think about it, the more you actually remember it, which is kind of a weird thing. So I love the wooden bits, but I wish they may have figured out a way to build it with something that you cannot really tell what is what. That's the only negative here, but if you don't have OCD or this doesn't bother you, just get it anyways. I'm going to recommend it if you do, even if that does bother you, get it, because it did bother me, but not enough to not enjoy the game. It's amazing. So I love this quick 2-player game. I'm inducting it in my gaming library with a saxophone serenade, so let's go.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.